welcome everybody to our workshop. And welcome Irvine in the first place. And thanks for doing that with us as a Corona substitute for the seminars and concerts we were planning in Nuremberg and Würzburg. So I would like to suggest that we start by everybody introducing himself briefly. All the 10 students we have in the game. So why don't we start with Jürgen?
Oh, hello. My name is Jürgen and I come from Taiwan. I study with Professor Platz in Würzburg. Yes.
Okay, then we go on to Akane.
Hello, my name is Akane Obana. I come from Japan. I studied in Tokyo, bachelor, and now study in Würzburg.
Okay, then we go on. Thank you, Akane. Then we go on to Aydin Pfeiffer.
Yeah, hello, my name is Aydin Pfeiffer and I study composition with Robert Platz and guitar with Jürgen at the University of Music in Würzburg. And I'm from Germany.
One of the few. And then we continue with Denke Lee, Mr. Lee.
Okay. My name is Denke Lee and I'm 24 years old. I come from Beijing, China. And now I'm studying composition with Mr. Gahn at the Nuremberg University of Music. I'm now a first-year graduate student.
And the next one would be Mrs. An.
Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Connie An. I'm from South Korea. I am studying master composition with Prof. Gahn in Nuremberg.
Great. And Mr. Ryu?
Yeah, hello, nice to meet you. My name is Gunu from South Korea. Now I'm studying in Nuremberg with Professor Gahn for my master.
And Romeo, how about you next?
So, hello at all, I'm Romeo Wex, I'm 26 years old and I'm from Germany, from Berlin. I studied my bachelor and master in Weimar with Professor Michael Obst and after that with Professor Reinhard Woltener. And yeah, next semester I want to study with Robert in Würzburg.
So at the moment, Romeo is participating in the seminar as our guest. Yannick, how about you?
Yes, hello, my name is Yannick Kern. I'm from Fulda, which is located between Frankfurt and Kassel, and I'm studying composition with Robert Platz.
And Yidan.
Hello, my name is Yidan Wang. I come from China, and I'm studying composition master with Mr. Platz. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to hear you, because you're the farthest one away. All of us other ones are in Europe, the United Kingdom respectively for Irvine, but Yidan Wang is the one who's taking part in this from her home in China.
Yeah, I'm in China now.
And Mr. Zhou.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. My name is Youngjae Cho. I come from South Korea. And on the present time studying composition master in Nuremberg with Professor Gahn.
Great.
So I'm Irvine Arditti.
Yeah, and nice to meet you.
I studied so long ago, I can't remember who I studied with. Okay. Not many problems with this piece, just a few suggestions. One thing about notation, when you write harmonics, sometimes it's difficult to know how long the duration of the note is. So if you look at bars 28, 29, and 30, you have to work out the duration of the notes by the other notes. Yeah. So you need somehow to, I mean, for instance, in bar 29, the second note, which is 2 beats, looks the same as the note in the next bar, which is only 1 beat.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So I think you need some sort of maybe notation at the top,
Mhm.
you know, like in circles, telling how many beats are to be held by harmonics.
Or just the way the notes immediately preceding were notated. That means with both pitches, the fundamental and the diamond.
Yeah, but in a way it's fine to have the natural harmonic rather than the artificial.
Mm.
So it's good to suggest a notation where you can have the, the natural harmonics.
Yeah.
And have the natural harmonics also in filled out squares is also not so clear, right?
Well, you could have the natural harmonics filled in
Yes.
bar 30, so it indicates that it's 1 beat.
That would be okay for you.
Yeah, so fill it in like it's 1 beat,
Hmm?
and leave the 1 blank in bar 29 because it's 2 beats.
Next one would be, according to your chronology, Irvine would be Akane Obana with her composition Umami.
It's not Tsunami.
No.
Where's she gone?
You'll see her if she says something. Akane.
Hello.
Oh, there you are. You're not on my screen, you see. You're on the next screen, so I can't see you unless you say something.
Sorry.
So it's okay. Don't worry.
Yes.
Yeah, the only question about this one is vibrato. In some bars, like later in the piece, 42, bar 42, and then bar 44, and then 46, 47, 48. You have sometimes vibrato, sometimes not vibrato. And it's quite unusual. All these bars have glissando in them. It's quite unusual to have vibrato on glissando.
Well, that's good.
Let me play. If you don't understand, I just play bar 42. Yeah. Is that the sort of thing you want? Yes. It's rather strange. Yeah. It's rather unusual to see vibrato on glissando. I feel a bit like a goat.
That's the umami effect.
Is it? I mean, yeah, just checking that's what's required. Yeah, good. Okay. So. Yeah, first question. The molto vibrato, does that continue into bar 2 or it's just for bar 1?
Only bar 1.
Only bar 1. So then you need to write in bar 2 senza vibrato. Because it's not just an effect for 1 bar. If we see a sign, we then continue playing like that. So you must negate it. Yeah, you understand?
Third one was Jürgen, a piece called Süß, Sweet.
Where's the composer?
Hi, hello.
Hello, where are you? You're
Hello,
not.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Now, I have a few basic questions with this piece. It's mostly clear, but I just want to say to you that I want to ask you a question. If you understand that the major third harmonic, the sixth harmonic are the same. So if you play, I don't know if you can see my hands, the third on the D string, you play the sixth, you have the same note. Yeah, it's the same pitch. So sometimes you're writing changes which are unison. So if you look at bar 31, if you look at your score, bar 31, after the first two notes, you write a sixth harmonic and then a major third harmonic, which give the same pitch. And I'm not sure if you understand that.
Talk about it.
Yes, yes, I understand.
Yeah? And in general, the sixth harmonic is easier to play than the major third in general. It's slightly easier to pitch. And sometimes when you write double stops, let me show you a bar because I'm talking in the air at the moment. Look at bar 43. Bar 43. You write just the top part, but with the bottom part. If you play, instead of the third, the sixth harmonic for the second note at the top part, the hand is in a more open position. And again, a sixth harmonic instead of the third for the G sharp, which is the same.
So next one is 一人忘 sour.
Sour. It's not sour. I want it to be more sour.
Just trying to find the score here.
Hello, can't see you.
Hello.
Hello. Still can't see you.
Can you see me?
No, I can see you, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So just one question.
Mhm.
These ponticelli, do they really go on for the entire duration? Because you write ponticello in bar 9 and then ordinario in 23. So the whole thing is ponticello until there? Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And then 32 until 36, all ponticello?
Yes.
Yep.
Until the ordinario in 36, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I don't understand after then exactly what you wrote. In bar 37, slightly and freely slide with tremolo. What does that mean?
Means slightly free.
But you want a kind of oscillation around the D, something like. Is that the idea?
Yeah, like this.
Okay. Now, the D is not the highest note possible. And after then, the normal symbol with the pyramid upwards means highest note possible. So you're going to have this pitch, this pitch. And is that one crescendo? Is it one crescendo over 2 bars, or is it 2 crescendi? So in 37, you write pianissimo to mezzo forte, and then 38, you write mezzo forte to forte. Could we replace that with one crescendo, getting to mezzo forte in the second bar, or do you want it to go above mezzo forte in the first bar and then drop again? You understand? There's 2 possible interpretations with what you've written.
Yeah, the in bar set 37,
Yeah.
slightly and freely slide.
Well, the dynamic decreases to a different level.
Mhm.
A dynamic level for insects.
Mhm.
And it's not possible to play 3 strings in that effect.
Sorry, I missed plus.
The first
Yes.
should be a pizzicato.
Yes, right.
Yeah, the lower D. Otherwise, it's not possible.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I have a go. The end is rather impossible, you see, at that tempo, to play all the notes. I mean, there's too many octave changes. In the penultimate beat, I would make the third note 1 octave higher, because it's just too many changes. The tempo is too quick. It's almost too quick to play anything there.
Yeah.
But in that penultimate beat, I would play. So instead of. It's really not possible in that tempo. But I don't know if any of it is possible, because you want to hear the pitches. It's quite clear, the pitches, but at the tempo of 117, well, I don't know if anyone could play that. This is 116. Sorry, my metronome doesn't do 117. I mean, that is impossible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that tempo is really impossible. So I just thought of doing the octave transposition, so my fingers don't quite do it at the moment. It's too fast.
Okay, and if you do it slower in, let's say, 77? 1 beat in 77? For the last 2 measures?
You mean go from 117 to 77? Yeah,
yes,
that's possible. Yeah, 76.
76.
Yeah, that's possible.
Okay.
It's very hard, but it's possible. Faster than that, I think, is impossible.
Okay.
But it's a question if it makes sense to do it there, or so it's
We'll meet again to continue on that.
Didn't Vera Lynn sing that?
Next one would be Aydin Pfeiffer.
Can I say that for this piece also, I would really appreciate to see major sixth harmonics and not major third.
Okay.
Because they're all easier to play. And
I was not sure if it's possible to play a quarter harmonic on the third, for example, and a sixth flageolet on the neighbor string at the same time. So
oh yeah,
is that possible? Okay.
Yeah, if you look at bar 28, I think that's the
Yes.
time it comes. 28. The sixth. It's much
Okay.
easier than playing the closed hand position. I think.
Okay.
For me, I prefer that. So whenever you have those things, I'd like to see them. Probably it's quite easy with the computer just to change them.
Yes.
That would be great. It's
really nice.
Very good.
It's a bit mind-boggling. But I
mean, one question: could you make sure that the durations all are really exact? So, or did you just play a little bit faster? No, but really nice. Yes.
Sorry, say that again. I didn't exactly understand what you meant.
Yeah, in the beginning, I wasn't sure if the duration of the second scratch tone was right when it appeared, but maybe it was because you played a little bit faster. No, that it could also be.
I'm thinking like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, really nice. Okay, perfect.
I need more
Thank
time.
you.
It's really hard to absorb.
Clear.
So let's move on to Danke Lee, the other shore.
Okay. Hello, I'm here.
Hello there.
Can you see me?
I can see you.
Okay.
Oh, I can't see all of you, just a bit of you. Yeah, just some points of violin playing. My peg box is very far away from me.
Ah. In the big box.
I have a long violin. It's much longer than other people's. No, I don't really.
Donald Trump would say mine is longer.
Ah.
Very hard to catch it. It's very hard to catch it and play long open strings. But I understand the effect. It's a nice effect, but it's really hard.
Yes.
Really hard to do that. Just to say for one thing, and then there's one other thing. You write the same pitches in legato, and you can't play the same pitches in legato. It's later in the piece.
Where?
Yeah, I'm just finding it. Bar 122. 1, 2, 2.
Okay.
You write. Now, I don't know whether you mean, or whether you mean
this.
The second one. So it means
second.
You can't have the legato over the first two notes. You have to have the legato over the second and third note, because you have to break that up in order to make the second same note heard.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. And the next bar also. Yep. And also, some of this idea of going across the string is okay, but it's quite tricky sometimes with the pitches for the speed, like in bar 120.
Mhm.
Those are the pitches, but the tempo is. See, it's very easy. Okay, I can play.
No problem.
No, it's hard, but it's
Oh,
in 130.
okay.
In 134, it's not possible to play that falsetto in a bouncy bow
Mhm.
because you don't. It's to have the finger positions across 4 strings is not possible. You haven't thought out the pitches. So if you want the pitches. And now in bar 135 is the 6th note a B natural. You've written a C flat, which doesn't make any sense. 1, 3, 5.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. The
I know.
second group, second note in the second group. We don't like to see C flats and F flats. I mean, it's enharmonic, but it has no relevance in this bar.
Oh,
Is it a mistake? Do you mean C natural or do you mean B natural?
B flat maybe.
No, he's written. Oh,
Because
he's
it's
written
B flat coming after.
B.
I don't know how he's organized the note patterns. Anyway, look at that. Yeah. Just
Mhm.
we don't have a lot of time, so put a circle. Well, this is quite a long piece. Put a circle around that, and also just some clarity about accidentals. If you look on a few bars later, bar 140.
140.
Yeah.
Mhm.
40. From the 2 bars before, we have a G sharp. Yeah, first with an A, then with a harmonic A. Now, what is that note? Is it a harmonic? From the beginning of bar 140, it's a harmonic?
Yeah. Yes.
And what is the next one? Because it's a G, and it should be a G sharp. If we have the law of classic notation, that is also should be sharpened. And if you want it to be natural, you need to write a natural sign.
Okay.
You understand? So
Mhm.
sharpened,
Understand.
then both. It's the same note
Mhm.
as the first one. If it's sharpened, if it was a G sharp and a C sharp above, it's the same harmonic as the first part of the bar. But maybe you want a G natural there, in which case you have to write natural signs.
Mhm.
Yeah?
Okay.
So think about that one. What pitch you want there?
Next
Alles
is
klar?
Mr. U.
The only thing I don't understand about this piece
Uh-huh.
is there's something that's not possible, or it's weird, but I don't understand. It's probably a similar problem in 57. 55, I don't quite understand what you want there.
Yeah, so 55. Yeah, you can play this measure just 20 times or
No, but
in 122.
but you have a D and an A,
Yep.
and you also have an E flat starting the group of 3.
Yes.
And all those 3 notes can only be played.
Yeah, just you can one. Yes, exactly. Yeah. You can just one boing. Yeah. Yep.
I think it's better with separate bows because there's too much space if you just do down bows.
Uh-huh.
There's too much space in between. It depends what you want.
Mm-hmm.
If they're meant to be consequential, it's easier to play that with down, up, than down, 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 down.
Okay. I will construct. Yeah.
Both are kind of possible. The next bar I really don't understand. You written left hand 4th string, bowing 4th string. So you've got 2 appoggiaturas again, Again, we're using this slash sign, which means as fast as possible. Yeah, in your music, or
Yeah.
so the bowing is two things, whatever they are, as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm playing on the G string. And then you say 3 and 4. What does that mean? And you write open G's.
Yep.
I don't understand that.
So it means just
Maybe you should write open D's, not open G's, because I'm playing on the G string. You've got me to play the left hand on the G string. So if you want me to add another string,
yes,
open
it's a
string,
fourth. Yeah,
it should be the D string, not the G string.
with D string. It's just yeah.
No, but you've written G.
Oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
Next one is Sfuma by Mr. Cho.
Sfuma.
I'm here.
You're here. I'm here. Okay, yeah, this one. Sometimes I feel the glissando disappear.
Yeah.
Too quickly, but I think you know that. I was talking with Peter about that the other day. We had one preview.
And I heard them.
He says he heard them, but I don't think I hear them as much as I want to. So let's try and hear them. See, I don't hear the last E flat. I think it dies before I get to the end. So to have that holding on for a quarter note is rather ridiculous. Yeah?
Yeah.
There you are. You understand? I mean, okay, have... Oh, yeah. I don't hear the end of it, but to have the last note holding on for 16th and a quarter note, I think is slightly ridiculous because you don't hear anything by then. Let's go on. What do you actually want there?
I meant only one pizzicato und glissando and glissando.
Oh, but then you don't mark glissando in
Yeah,
this.
I mean
no. In bar 8 I have no glissando. Is it missing?
I didn't understand.
In bar 8.
8. Okay.
In my part, I have no glissando. It must be missing, yeah?
Yeah.
You have it in your score?
Oh.
Because I don't have it in mine.
Bar 8 like bar 4? Same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I think he wants. But
Yeah.
that's not.
Last piece would be Mrs. An.
Mrs. An.
Hi, hello. Hi, hello.
Hello. Mrs. An, you've given me lots of problems. I'm a terrible actor. And I've lost your piece. I think I probably lost it on purpose. No, I didn't lose it really. I'm joking. Always joking. Oh, no, that's not the piece. That's the instruction. It's here somewhere. Lots of pieces on my stand. So, is this a theater piece or is this a piece to hear?
Yeah.
Is it a theater piece? It's music theater, yes?
Half.
Okay. So
yeah.
I studied music theater with Mr. Cargill, Mr. Wittenbach, but that was a long time ago, so I'm a bit rusty.
Rusty.
Can you speak German?
Yeah.
Can you translate rusty?
Eingerostet.
Eingerostet, yeah.
eingerostet.
Yeah, my acting is a bit rusty. Okay, let's understand this. So to start, the violin is away, yeah? To begin the piece, the violin is away. Is that correct?
Yeah.
But you don't say that. You say it everywhere else, but you don't say in the beginning. So you need to say that. Can someone translate immediately when I'm speaking so that she understands what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Thank
you very much.
How did I do?
How did I do?
How many out of 10?
How many? Sorry, I have no understanding.
How did you like it?
Yeah, it was very nice. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
I made a few mistakes.
Um,
It's a long piece, and thank you, whoever corrected. I see the correction I made has been put in. Yeah, so I'm not a great theater musician.
Yes, you are.
Am I? Well, I did work with a few theater composers like Maurizio Kagel and Jürgen Wittenbach. They both wrote theater pieces for string quartet, and I worked with them. But for me, the problem in this piece is that it takes too long to get between one action and the other.
yes.
And so there's too much time taken with just putting the bow down or picking up the cloth or whatever. I'm just going to get the cloth. There we go. My arm's just extended a bit longer now. One thing that I learned from Lacherman in his piece Tanzsuite, when he's making noises up and down the string, like, can you see my violin? Can't see me. I can't see me.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
It's good, yes.
Okay, so if he's making noises holding the bow in the fist, like this way, that way, this way, that way, he does it consequently. Now, by that I mean this way, and then this way, or this way, but he never does this way, and then again this way. Yeah, so you never have to take the bow off. So it's it's thought out to make it practical for the player. Now, if I take, I'm just creating the analogy with your bar 140, 139, it starts 139, when you have the cloth. So the first few are okay, across, up, across the other way, then down, and then I'm here, across and across. So I have to take it up again. And so this tempo is 100, yeah? It's fast. I think I didn't do it quite this fast, but it should be. It's really impossible to take the cloth up.
Okay.
And I don't think it makes much difference to you whether you get this sound or that sound, that or that. But if it can all keep on the instrument, so one is consequent to the next one, and I never have to do up, or up, like that, because at the tempo if it's slower, it's possible, but at the tempo you write 100, it's not possible at that speed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a special piece of wood in for my foot stamps because I have carpet in every room of the house. So I found a piece of wood so that when I did the foot stamp, you really heard it. But it doesn't sound like
you didn't take the carpet off.
I didn't want to take the carpet off, no. Yeah, because it's so difficult to get someone to relay the carpet these days. But it doesn't sound, it sounds like wood. It doesn't really sound like a foot stamp. But I thought
it sounded perfect to me.
Yeah. I remember a performance we once gave of an American composers quartet many, many years ago. It was even in the 70s, so it was more than 40 years ago. And we were playing in a church, and this composer had foot stamps in his piece. Right at the beginning of the piece they started, the first thing was a foot stamp. And it was a church and had a very good loud acoustic, but it was all made of stone. So when you put your foot on the floor, nothing happened. The composer said, this is not good. We need to hear the foot-stamps much more. So the promoter said, okay, I will get the quartet a podium for tonight so that the foot-stamps will be heard. Podium, like, I don't know, this high or something this high, so that we'd come off the ground and we'd be stamping on wood. Came to the concert, it was the first piece in the concert. We started the piece and we all had to stamp our foot. And there was this tremendous bang because the wood amplified, and we did it really hard because we thought it must be heard really loudly. And everyone jumped. And we didn't only get lost in the first bar, we got lost in the first beat of the first bar because it was like a cannon and we were completely shocked. So we had to stop, start again. But that was one of the first concerts we gave outside of England, was in Holland. But so I always remember this famous foot stamp.
Yeah, they're used to wooden shoes, you know.
Yeah, precisely. So they don't need podiums. Well, I think there's not anything else actually.
Okay, then I would like to, if that's so, I would like to suggest we take for contrast the shortest piece, and that would be Yannick Helm. Yes. Yannick, you agree?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
No, it's got good energy.
Thanks.
There's nothing really for me to say, except I could have done a few things better. Penultimate bar could have been softer.
Yeah, but still.
It's funny how one is conditioned by what one sees first, because I looked at the first version of the piece.
Oh, yeah.
And then there were different versions. And
keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. Then he changed something to make it possible to play and make it easier, bar 14. And 14 and 15 were not in the first versions.
Yes.
But it's all playable now and possible. For me, there's a little bit of strangeness between the normal playing and this sort of thing. I mean, it's either one or the other.
There's an aesthetical gap between the two. It breaks.
Yeah, there could be, you know, one could extend. I said in one of the other sessions that I think this is too short and it could be extended. But, you know, you could have things like... you could mix the two things up much more together.
Yeah.
Extend the piece in that way. Use mixing. I mean, have them separate. I'm not saying what you've done is bad or wrong, but if you were thinking to continue and extend the piece and do other things, you could mix it up and make use of those two things against each other, for instance. But the piece is perfectly playable. I would say short and sweet.
Short and fat in that case.
Short and fat in this case.
Sweet comes later.
Okay. Yeah, there are a few tiny mistakes.
How about this? Okay.
You can get rid of them if you want.
Yeah, but it was tiny mistakes.
There's so many repetitions.
I understand. Yeah, it's a best slower version. Yeah,
I can tell you where they are if you like. Probably you know. In bar 23, I played not correct rhythm, not exactly twice in 23.
Yeah, but slower version, and you record one more time. Yeah,
I think
okay.
The first beat of 107 wasn't correct. But you know, you have so many repetitions.
So it's easy to
and
cut.
you're a clever boy, so you can make it right if you want.
It's okay. So.
Just to say one thing, which two things actually, which I noticed following it. In bar 116, you have the two pizzicati, and they're written very small.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now they're written as 8 notes, but I interpreted them as appoggiaturas. Because they're written small. I played them. 8 notes will be really slow, which I didn't do. Yeah.
So, yeah, actually, you should play with it's a 8 note, but yeah, this also I understand.
So I'm just telling you, I made a mistake, but there's a reason for the mistake. Because if you wanted 8 notes, you should have written them in the normal size.
Yeah, I should be. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little confusing the way you wrote it. I mean, I know that to play them as appoggiatura, they should have a line through the thing, a line across, but I didn't see that. And there was something else. Oh, something else just to mention, you know, these tremolos. Most of the time I was going periodically, but sometimes I thought I would break it up. I don't know. I'm not sure that sounded good. It sounded like it was wrong when I didn't keep playing the same pattern. But I noticed you wrote extremely dense, fast arpeggiandi, and simultaneous tremolo. You should also include something to say that you want it periodically or not. I don't know if you do. Maybe it's a rhythmic piece and you do want it periodically. By that I mean like that, as opposed to doing some other sorts of changes within it. I don't know what you like or what you want.
You were thinking in 140 to do it aperiodically, right?
Yes, actually, yeah, at first, but yeah, it's okay. Yeah,
I didn't see that, but you know, maybe as your notation is precise, you could decide that and make it more precise.
Well, I think a mix of periodic and aperiodic passages, as it was now, is quite good.
Yeah. Okay, but it should say something.
Yeah.
It should say what it should be.
Aperiodic mix of periodic and aperiodic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should we move on to Aydin's piece?
We can move on. Just to say that if any composers have any further questions, please ask me now. Yeah, because we have time today.
That's for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Please do ask.
Don't let us rush off your piece if you have any further queries or questions after listening to your piece. Yeah.
So, Mr. Liu, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have one question. I think this piece requires too much energy, so wasn't it too hard at last passage or no? So maybe
if you played the
second
if you played the Berio viola sequenzo, then you wouldn't consider this hard. Now I have to say I haven't played the Berio viola sequenza, but I have played pieces like it, probably by composers that you don't know. There's a composer called Guerrero, Spanish composer.
Francisco
Guerrero, the same name as the 16th or 17th century composer. But this composer lived until about 12 or 15 years ago, and he wrote a Zion cycle. And in it, there's a 15-minute violin piece, which is continuously aggressive. And it's quite exhausting to play 15 minutes. I haven't played the cycle for some years, but there are 7 pieces in the cycle. And I'm in all the 7 pieces, and to stand up in the middle and play. So this is nothing. Nothing.
Okay.
Really. I would be fitter if it wasn't for coronavirus. But I don't move around enough at the moment. So I shouldn't worry about that. I mean, anyone could handle that, what you've written. Yeah.
Yep, thank you.
That's good to know.
Does anyone whose piece I've played have any further comments or questions?
So Miss Anne or Yannick?
To give you a chance to say anything.
Did we move on too quickly? Sorry about that. That's my fault.
No. It's all fine for me. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, if there's no more questions, I would suggest going on with Aydin's piece.
Very well, absolute virtuos. I thank you a lot for playing it like this.
Well, it's not perfect. I see you didn't make the edit.
Yes, there were 2 bars that are missing in the recording, but I thought for the video it's better to not interrupt, and I can do a audio file in which I add the 2 missing bars. I think that's a good solution.
But I sent you the other recording. Yeah.
Yes.
I sent the other recording, and the other recording is better for the noise sounds from bar 62. I think they're more correct for all the sounds that turn into noises. So you do have a video. You have a video from 62 until the 10/4 bar, which is too short also in the second version. But you could just cut the bit out of the other version. Yeah, because what happens, he sent me an email saying I'd missed 2 bars out. And I thought, how can I deal with this? And then I remembered I made another version of it. It was in my trash. So I went into the trash and took it out. And lo and behold, the bars that he talked about were better. And the 2 bars were not missing, but still the 10/4 bar was much too short. But you could just cut both the video and the sound from the other recording, and then you have it much better. Yeah, for me, the piece is really hard because keep changing between the different things. And for me, it could even go faster, but I can't play it faster at the moment. But I think in a performance, the piece could go faster, you know, pop, 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 that sort of thing. But of course, when you write that in harmonics, when you're using one finger, it's very hard to play that tempo. But I think that would be a kind of an effective tempo. It's also very hard to keep making the noise sounds and to make sure that they are noise sounds. Maybe 50% of them I was happy with, only 50%. But of course, if you wanted to make a better recording, you could cut out the noise sounds that are good and replace the ones that are not good. But I felt also...
No, I'm absolutely content of zufrieden.
Zufrieden, yeah. Okay,
yes.
Yeah. But I'm not zufrieden.
very good.
Yeah. Also, I'm telling you honestly what I thought listening to the recording. And sometimes the harmonics don't come out. These ones. Sometimes I played too much the pitches. Because if you really play the harmonics you wrote, you get nothing like the notes you see. And so my brain did not disseminate quick enough whether they were harmonics or whether they were normal notes. Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. But my tendency was to concentrate on playing the pitches. And I noticed in at least 3 occasions, there could have been a more harmonic sound, more the sound of harmonics than of actual notes. But work in progress.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bad for a first attempt.
Yes.
This is
what
I
think.
I'm very critical. I'm very critical of myself.
What do you think if I write a piece like this for 50 minutes? Is it too hard or
50?
Again, please.
I didn't answer you yet.
Oh, okay.
I just laughed. Well,
15 or 50?
I think he said 50.
No. Viertelstunde.
Viertelstunde. Okay.
Quarter of an hour.
Yeah, okay, Viertelstunde. You could do, but the thing is, it has limited material which keeps repeating. So you have to ask yourself if it's going to be interesting for 15 minutes. Yeah.
The way it is now, I think it's perfect.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I'm not a composition teacher, but I've taught many composers composition. I don't know if you understand the subtlety of that. Some famous ones too, but they would never admit it. But I think the material has to be interesting. You know, I mean, you can say to me, well, does this Morton Feldman piece, is it interesting for 2 hours or 3 hours or 5 hours or whatever it is? But it has a certain quality. But however long you make this, it has to be interesting. I mean, you could have, you have a number of techniques in it. Yeah. You know, you have the noise, you have the tone loss, you have the harmonics, that, you have the written things, those glissandi, and you have those quintuplets. That's the speed I think they should go. That will be effective, a tempo for the piece. But then in bar 22, I can't play. Almost I can play it, but not quite. Yeah. I mean, in fact, they're all harmonics, so you don't even know if I'm playing the right notes, because there isn't such a thing as right notes. So it is possible to play that, actually. Bearing in mind that you always start from the position on the next string where you leave off the previous string. I'm glad Peter told me that in the first session.
Yes, thank you.
But that's it, and then you have a few things in. But maybe if you want to make the piece 15 minutes, you have to add some more material. You're always mixing,
yeah, of course.
Material, you know, between different. You're going between the different materials, but maybe you have. Maybe it's too much noise. I mean, there's not much pitch element in the piece. This is a pitch element, but there's not really much other pitch element. I suppose could be considered a pitch element with a scale going up, but you could put more things in it, I think, if you want to make it longer. But I think Robert's comment is absolutely right. It's good for what it is like at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, just to add a comment, of course, you can go also in the different direction and say you just concentrate on one material and the next 10 minutes will be just on noise sounds, but then think really about dynamics and rhythm. So I think there are a lot of directions of adding material or just concentrating on one material and do more with it.
Well, yeah, the reason I made my suggestion is because that's what he's done at the moment. He's mixed all the materials up. So for me, that's what the piece is at the moment. From what you're saying, Peter, that sounds like a different piece. And I'm trying to
you're right,
suggest the same sort of piece, but just to make it, if he wants to make it longer, to make it more different things, more contrasted. That's all.
Perfectly right.
Yeah, if it should have continue in the speed of the musical speed, of course, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's what
one of the good points of the piece, I think, is the high density it has and the mix of materials within a short time. Of course, you can break that up and insert silences in between. We talked about that in our lessons, like doing one thing like it, and then wait, have silence, and then again. You can gain a lot of time like this, but that would be like mixing up space and time and filling space with sounds to acquire time. But that, I think, would be the wrong way to do.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't thinking so much of breaking it up with slower things, because I think the piece is about the speed of the actions and the speed of the proximity of the different actions between each other. Yeah, density. So, you know, I would, if I was saying something about adding things, it's all unrelated. I mean, all the things go from one thing to the next, but never, he could have more static things, but they don't have to be soft things with silence. They can be, you could add this.
But that would in fact be another piece.
No, quickly, shortly, and then go back to what he's got. You could add various things that are short, but they could be more, I don't know, trying to think of the right word, less abstract. You know, this has nothing to hold on to there. You know, there is in those quintuplets, but you could develop it in doing other things with the quintuplet idea. Adding, I mean, not detracting anything you've got, but so what I'm talking about is adding with the same character that's already there.
You mean like Boulez with his prolifération de matériaux?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just expanding the piece with more things in it, but things that are the ear can relate to more, less abstract. You know, something that is not static, but is one thing.
Could be also noise sounds, of course. If there are a lot of directions, could be also.
Yeah.
You should have just the speed and the variety of
Oh,
it.
that now it's getting too difficult for me, Peter. I can't play that fast, and I was having difficulty with that. You see that the problem was that I felt some of the noise sounds started getting pitched, not pitch, but add some pitch to the noise, and I really liked it when it was low, like this, low noise sound. If they could have all been like that, I would have been happier. But they weren't all like that. And all like that, it's better they were at the heel of the bow on the low string. So I wrote in bowing before it up bows in order that I prepared myself. So I was there to play the noise, but it didn't always work out because even at this speed, the piece was moving too quickly for me. But I think musically it could go even faster and therefore would sound better. Next.
Okay, thank you. How about umami, Akane Obana?
Very, very nice. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome. Not perfect. Some things, dynamics could be better, like in 34 was too loud. That's a bit you added, but it was a little too loud. Also, I think you could do with the pianissimo at the beginning of 17.
17.
If you look at bar 49 and 50, 49, 50, this is a section, a little piece you added, yeah? You added this bit. It wasn't in the first version. So you do a diminuendo to pianissimo, and then from the second beat, it's sforzando. I presume it's sforzando in loud dynamic. Could be, I played it sforzando semi-loud dynamic. But the first time you never wrote the pianissimo there. In the first time, meaning in bar 17, you wrote the diminuendo from 16, but you didn't write pianissimo beginning of 17. And probably it's good if it's the same.
Okay.
So I don't know whether you want the sforzando in pianissimo or sforzando in forte. I mean, the difference would be that's kind of in forte, and in that's sforzando in pianissimo. It's kind of different. Or
I like with sforzando.
they're both with sforzando, but one is in fortissimo, one is in piano. Yeah, so you mean the last one you prefer? Yeah, okay. That's the way I did it. But maybe you could clarify that, Robert, that the first time I think should be the same.
No problem.
Felt pianissimo. Yeah, otherwise it's clear. Intentions are clear. I think the other things came out okay.
Okay.
You have some questions?
I was just going to ask, yes. Akane, son?
No.
No.
Totally happy.
Alles gut. So.
Alles good, or alles is good.
Okay, if that is so, why don't we move on to Mr. Cho?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's effective. I'm still not convinced always by the pizzicato and then the delay of moving the finger. I think the piece is kind of concrete, and when you do that, it's not concrete. And I always think, oh, you have to move the finger quickly. Some of them I played slightly quicker than you wrote when there were 8 notes. That sort of speed. If I
Yeah.
here.
Yes. Yeah, here.
If you do it,
yeah, exactly.
you can hear it if you do it slightly quicker. And I suppose if you have a section where it's all about that, it's okay. But for me, in bar 87, for instance, 87, it's the only action there. 85 is then, and then you have it here. And you just don't really hear that second A, you know, the second half of the beat. You don't hear that A. Unless I take the finger off very hard so that the actual finger hits against the air. Oh, I do it again.
And with glissando, is it possible to play?
Do you hear that? I don't hear the A. You see, it's around other things that are more concrete. I really don't hear that. What I'm saying is, in the beginning where you have lots of those things, okay. but at the end you just have that one in the whole section. The next one is audible because you slide quickly in bar 88. So that is audible. And so to have just that one that is inaudible when it's surrounded by much more concrete things, for me, is a bit weird. It's being very finicky. And personally, I think I played vibrato in 75 and I should not have done. I think it's better without vibrato. For me, it's too concrete. It just suddenly is something else. I mean, it could be Ponticello or pianissimo style from the bar before. You know, something like that, where it organically comes from what is before.
With sul Ponticello?
I played it Ponticello, I played it much softer. I started from the 3-piano dynamic before. I connected it. I connected one thing to the next, for instance. And for me, that was much better than what you did, which is suddenly start something else there. But I'm not composing the piece, you're composing the piece. I'm just giving you a suggestion of what I think might have made it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's all. That sort of thing. Yeah?
I have some question.
Sure.
Bar 65, pizzicato.
Yeah.
Yeah, about pizzicato direction. Is it impossible?
I did my special. Don't you like that? I like that.
Yeah, I like.
It's like a dancer. It's easier to do that way because of the road.
So
it's more difficult that way.
I just know that the position. So
yeah. Well, I did it. I didn't do it for the ballet, although I like the ballet, but I did it to make the action easier.
If it would be piano, you can do it just like that, right?
No, it doesn't make any difference. It's because up is it goes with the hand. But if you try and do it down, you got the nail there, not the flesh of the hand. So if you want the flesh of the hand, you have to. It's much harder. But this way, it's going by inverting the violin.
Of course. How would it be with the nail? In the other direction,
Painful.
Just like that. And
you don't really get the good pitches out on the E string because the string is shorter and narrow, and I don't know, it's more difficult. I mean, lots of people write pizzicatos going the wrong way, and sometimes you can't play them. You don't have time to do what I did. Here you have time. There are one or two nasty ones in the Elliott Carter's 4 pieces for violin solo. I can't remember which piece. I think it's the second one or the first one. Has arpeggiated pitches going both ways.
Thank you very much.
Quite hard to play. Yeah.
I discussed with Mr. Cho just last week in his lesson that maybe if you play this piece in a larger hall, slightly amplification should be helpful to have the sounds which are almost lost possible to listen.
A good hall or amplification would be better than my room. Yeah. No, I mean, it's true that in a good acoustic, they will sound more, yeah.
And yeah, the other thing is, I think there's some aesthetics maybe behind, some sound aesthetics, that this maybe you go to a second pitch and the pitch is almost impossible to listen, but it's it would be very different if you don't have it. And I think there's some Korean music, gomungo, for example, which could be very interesting for you as a player to listen before, to get maybe some other idea of some sound also.
Now, I understand the concept, absolutely. I don't know specifically what you're talking about, but I understand the Oriental concept, more relating to Japanese things, probably in my case. But I do understand that, and that's very valid. The trouble is, as a performer, I'm trying to realize what I see in front of me. So if you tell me you can't hear it, it bothers me. It's like the story with Brian Ferneyhough and his piece Terrain for violin and ensemble, which is an extremely difficult piece for everybody, but especially for me. And some parts, the instrumentation, which is a lot of wind players, drowns the violin out. So I said to him, why should I bother to practice these bars? And he says, well, I want to see you playing it. You get the difference?
Yeah, of course.
I want to see you play. So, okay, it's a bit the same as here, completely different context, but it's a bit the same, is what you're saying. And I agree. That's, it's fine. Or the idea that you come in and out of being heard in the Ferneyhough, and here it's the same thing. You're coming in and out of being heard, completely different context. I appreciate that, but as a violinist, I want what I do to be heard.
Apart from the context of traditional Korean aesthetics, I have my doubts about amplification, because amplification always changes timbre, no matter how good it is. And so it's a good piece. It's a different piece then.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree absolutely with that philosophy. But, Robert, I remember once I was in Lisbon in the big hall of the Gulbenkian, and I was playing Xenakis' solo violin piece. And it sounded very loud. And Xenakis was in the hall, and he said to me, play louder. I said, what do you mean play louder? It sounds really loud here. And then he gave me the mathematical formula for how a sound dissipates or disappears the further away from it you are. And so he was sitting in the middle towards the back of the hall.
And he had a bad place.
It didn't sound very loud to him, and he wanted it to be louder. So, and also another example is Helmut Lackermann. He does not like amplification, but sometimes you have to do it if you can't actually hear things.
I remember the discussion when I conducted Brian's, what's it called, the Étude Transcendentale.
Yeah.
For soprano and instruments.
5 instruments.
And there was a harpsichord in there. And we had Mrs. Chojnacka playing. And she came and said, I need to listen to that instrument and I need amplification. And I said, I hate amplification. I'm the conductor and there is no amplification. She said, I need amplification. And I said, okay, if Brian writes it for harpsichord instead of harp or piano or whatever, that means he's interested in the timbre. And amplification destroys the timbre. So we do it without. And we did it without, and it was very nice. Of course, you got more the action, the noises of the action, the typical sound of the harpsichord, but that's what the piece was written for, after all. So.
Yeah, but sometimes, yeah, I understand that. Sometimes the composer miscalculates. And sometimes.
May happen.
So this is chamber music. And if you're playing it in a big hall, sometimes you need help. And perhaps the composer didn't always envisage that.
That's right.
So there are all sorts of ramifications of how to deal with things. And I know in a big hall, there's no point in having people at the back of the hall not being able to hear anything.
That's correct.
So sometimes you need ambience amplification. I mean, so slight that the audience doesn't even know it's being amplified. They have this in many halls. They have this on the stage, I think, in La Scala. We played in Milan in La Scala, which is 2,000-seater hall. And either the acoustic is very strange or they have some sort of application, because you hear your sound coming back at you quite severely on the stage. So I think it depends. And the room I recorded this in is the most resonant room in my house. This room is not resonant. But I did it for that very purpose.
That's fine.
Yeah. So, okay.
So let's move on.
Yep.
How about some sour sounds?
Oh, yes.
Very thanks for your nice performance.
You're welcome. I think it's a difficult piece to play actually, because of all the traditional romantic section of the piece is quite hard to finger. And of course, I have no experience in playing this music. But of course, I can sort of play it. I played it with a little bit rubato because I felt more from where it was coming from. You know, the
Oh,
concept,
very nice.
the way a classical player would have played this, you know, from, for instance, from 16. That sort of thing, rather than for me, that sounds stiff.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If it was a piece of classical music, then I would play it the way I tried to play it on the recording. But I don't know what it is, you see. So I'm caught between two stools. I'm caught between two positions because I'm not sure how to play it. And I feel this piece could be almost Chinese because it should be called sweet and sour, not just sour. Because this is sweet, isn't it? That's very sweet, but this is very sour. They could have definitely been written by two different people.
Yeah, maybe sometimes sour taste a little bit sweet. Maybe sometimes more
Well, that's why I said
strong.
it should be called sweet and sour. And of course, I don't know if you eat sweet and sour dishes where you are. Do you?
Yes.
You're in China, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you have, I mean, certainly Chinese food in England, we have very nice sweet and sour chicken and sweet and sour pork. But
I think that is not very traditional Chinese food.
No, I think it probably isn't. Having been to China only once.
Yeah, I see.
I noticed that it's not traditional. A lot of the things that we have. I was just using it.
Okay,
To
very nice.
demonstrate what I think about your piece, but I'm sorry. I was in Beijing last December, and that was the first time I was in China. And
I knew that.
You knew that? Okay.
Yeah.
I had a wonderful time with the students. They were very adoring, and I loved them and gave them lots of time and played their pieces. Lots. It was a very nice experience. But I couldn't get any sweet and sour chicken there.
But to this piece, I have the impression that what you call the romantic part in the middle, in the center of the piece, is kind of twofold. It's a structure that seems traditional, but the playing technique, ponticello, flautando, and pianissimo, is like putting another robe on the body of the score.
No, sure. But it's actually quite difficult to do because the difficulty is to play both strings at once. Perhaps I think I played it too loud. I could have played it softer. I could have played it much softer.
Yeah, maybe. Actually, the kind of aesthetic I had in mind when I suggested to Yidan that she have ponticello with the flautando was kind of, you know, the erhu instrument. It's a kind of violin that's held between the knees, and the bow goes between the strings.
I know the instrument. Somebody, Chinese composer, I don't remember his name, but he wrote us a piece for erhu and string quartet.
Yeah. Well, this kind of sound I had in mind, and I figure Idan also did, right?
Yeah, I think so.
For the pianissimo?
No, she didn't. You told her to have that, Robert. What I tell you what the difficulty is. Ponticello soft is okay, but flautando, the moment you start using lots of bow, you lose the contact between the two strings. You need a small amount of bow. I mean, I think I could have played it better by playing small amount of bow. And then going maybe to molto ponticello when the dynamic gets louder. Going to 5 pianos, just piano. You see, I think your idea was great, Robert, but as a player, I would take it a few steps even further to take it away.
Well, Idan, that's a question to you.
To make it sourer.
Yeah. How was what Irvine just played? Wasn't that wonderful?
Yeah, I think this song is interesting. So I should notation for it more softer to write the pianissimo.
And take the flautando out.
I would take the flautando out.
And put a sul ponticello.
And put, sorry, Peter?
And add a sul ponticello?
No, it's, the ponticello is already there. The piece is ponticello from bar 9.
Right.
Yeah.
So the ponticello is already there.
Just leave it.
I don't know, but what I don't like is the crescendo to more concrete things to mezzo piano in 31. So if what I played, what I was suggesting is to make the crescendo going to molto ponticello, so that as the volume comes up a little from pianissimo to mezzo piano, it's not so little, it's quite a lot. As it comes up, then you make the sound more obscure. Then you make diminuendo, but all the way. All the way to maybe to 5 Ps there. You could almost don't hear the end. So you make a really big diminuendo.
Yeah,
that's what I would do if I was a composer. But I'm not a composer.
I think Idan would be happy to take your advice in any case.
Yeah, very thankful.
Well, it's advice from really being able to play things and having played lots of things in the past. So advice to know what you can do with it. And you can't really know what you can do with it unless you have the experience of having a violin under your chin for many years. So I think
true.
That's what it's about. And
thank you.
Next time I come to China, I want to eat sweet and sour.
Yeah, you should try.
So if Idan has more questions,
no.
I would say let's continue with Romeo.
Yes, thank you very much. Really great.
You're welcome. I noticed how the bad microphone and the bad probably recording equipment tends to diminish the difference in dynamics, because I remember trying to make really a lot of difference between piano and forte. You know, like the last pizzicatos, forte, fortissimo, sforzando, and you don't hear that. I don't hear that on my computer. I don't know if you have better sound there, but
yeah,
I think it just evens out the dynamics. About the piece, it's kind of very square piece. I think you could do more different things with it. I mean, you know, this section, it sounds very classical. I know I possibly could have played it a little bit better, a bit more articulative, but I don't know if you could do more things with it. So coming in and out of hearing the pitches, kind of going up and down the string, or Colegno, a few pizzicatos mixed in. For me, it just sounds a bit static, I think is the word.
Yeah.
And one technical thing, in bar 28.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know if Helmut Lachenmann invented the concept of dynamics in inverted commas, is it? Is that what you call it? But that symbol was kind of invented. It's a relative symbol. So if you're doing something soft, like let's take the finger percussion in a few pieces ago. If you're playing this and you want to write forte, you write it in inverted commas, because it's not a real forte. It's as forte as you can play with that technique. Or when Lachenmann writes this, the difference between piano or forte, it's not a real forte, but it's as loud as you can play. Now here in bar 28, you're just writing harmonics, natural harmonic, stopped harmonic. So you can play that loud. So there's no need to write the dynamic in inverted commas. Because I can play almost, it is true that harmonics sound slightly softer than normal bowing, normal pitches on a stringed instrument, mostly. I mean, maybe not the octave harmonic, that's quite loud, but I know when I see harmonics, I have to play them slightly louder to make them the same dynamic as normal pitches. But I think in this case, you don't need the inverted commas.
Yeah, I want this intense sound, so I write it psychological, hard word.
Psychological.
So that was my, that was my idea.
To me, it means something else. If you wanted intense, you should write forte and intensivo.
Yeah.
With a word, with a description in Italian or whatever, in German or in English. But I think to use the inverted commas there, somebody like me who's seen that use in other things will think something different, as I told you. Yeah. Okay.
How is it intense and flautando for the flageolet?
Well, I'd use a slower bow.
Yeah.
That's intense. The slow bow.
More
and
pressure.
Flautando would be less intense, a faster bow.
So I don't know if I have the
faster
here.
and lighter. So flautando, faster and lighter bow.
Maybe intense is not the right word, so it's a stable sound. So maybe that's clearer to say it like that.
Stable sound.
Yeah.
You want me to sound like? You want me to sound like a horse? Nay.
Sounded like a donkey, rather.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the connection. It's the connection, Robert. No, but if you want a stable sound, I don't think you need to write anything. You just write the harmonic.
All you need is a stable player.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, already I think you did a great job, so I'm happy with this bar. So
yeah, well, I just want to point that out from a point of view of notation. I just played it. I played it loud. I played it forte and ignored the inverted commas.
Yeah.
Whatever you call them. I always forget what are they called, inverted commas?
Quotation marks, I would say.
Quotation marks. You see,
I'm not.
I need to ask Robert how it is in English. Things have got really bad.
You spend too much time in peeking.
No, I didn't spend enough time in peeking.
Okay, if Romeo doesn't have any further questions, I would like to suggest that we move from stable sounds to the other shore.
Other shore. Yes, how did I predict that? Slow, I mean, short, long, short, long.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I feel good.
Yeah, some strange things. I wasn't sure if you meant it. In bar 89.
Okay, 89.
89, I noticed when I was recording it, you actually wrote 2, 3. I think that's a mistake. No, the end of the note should still be a harmonic.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want it to change to a natural note. That's what you want there, no?
Uh-huh.
But you wrote a real note, not a harmonic, on the last beat, in the top part only. Can you see that? It needs to be white.
I can see.
White and rhomboid. And then I wasn't sure if you made the same mistake in 91, but I played what you wrote. And a harmonic. Yeah?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you made the same mistake there, and it shouldn't be a harmonic. It should just be a one long note.
Okay.
I'm not sure what you wanted there. I played the harmonic there. Yeah, but I think you...
So it's a question to you, Mr. Lee. Is it harmonic, the G sharp there at the piano, or is it just natural sound?
I want harmonic later.
Okay.
On the last beat, okay. But in the by 89, it's wrong. Yes.
89.
It would be very hard to play 89 with a normal.
Not wrong. Not wrong.
It's right.
This is I want.
Oh well, it's very hard to suddenly. It's very hard to suddenly put the finger down on only one string.
Okay.
You see, you get both notes as harmonics.
I see.
Yeah. I mean, the second one is perfectly possible. The first one doesn't make sense, technically.
Okay. In bar 14.
14, yeah.
Yeah, I want to delete collect no tratto. I think it would be better without it.
Yeah, I thought that too. It's weird because it's a kind of melody and the tratto takes away
Yes.
from that.
Yes, I know.
Maybe make it softer. Piano is too oblivious a dynamic. So yeah, mezzo. And then maybe I don't know, just a suggestion. Make it without the collegno, but pianissimo instead of piano. Or even 3 Ps.
Pianissimo.
Yeah, pianissimo or 3 P.
Okay.
I don't know. Just to make more contrast. This piece is a little bit too normal for me. It's a bit too... It could do with more character, I think. You know, there are various ways to do that. I think there was another technical thing which looks weird. I don't know if I can find it in the writing. I really don't know. It's when you have a long note and something going on top, like pizzicato, and then the long note stops and the pizzicato continues without the long note. And there was one bar, and I can't find it, where it was very unclear. And I should find it for you, because if it's very unclear, as I say, you should know about it. Yes, I've found it. It's 63.
Oh, 63, okay.
Yeah. You see, I don't understand bar 63. You have a pause on the harmonic over 2 beats. Yeah? That's the first thing with a pause. Then you have G for 3 beats. 1, 2. Oh, sorry, 1, 2, and 3. Then you have the top note, a triplet, and then the next rest makes up the rest of the beat. I don't understand that triplet over the 8th note. I'm presuming the triplet refers to the 8th note and the quarter note rest, yeah? But then you have 3 triplet 16ths. Where do they come? So is the rest part of the top part, or is it part of the bottom part? In fact, I can't see any way that bar makes any sense. Because look, you have the G. 1, 2, 3, 4. So where do you play the last triplet? You see, there are 4, forget the first 2 beats, there are 4 beats in the bar after the pause. Yeah? The bottom part does what? It goes 1, 2, 3, and then what does it do? Does it play on the last 8th note? There's something wrong there with your notation.
Okay.
We won't waste everybody's time anymore with that, but it's incorrect. It's not understandable what you've written. Yeah?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah? You have to make it clear. I made a gap in both parts, I think, and then played the last triplet. But you need to clarify that. I think that was all. Some nice things, some virtuoso things, that allusions to 19th century virtuoso violin playing. We cleaned them up and made them playable. But you know, it's quite a long piece. I think it needs, if you want to make it this long, you have to do more things with it. This is my opinion. Yeah? You can do more things with the notes you've written, I mean, with the piece exactly as it is. You know, more contrast in dynamics, more characters of sound.
Okay,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, which
Leave us
leads
only one more piece.
to the last missing piece.
The missing harmonic piece. So more
Read Jarin's piece.
Thank you. It's very nice.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, my playing could have been a little more legato. When you're playing harmonics, you're always trying to make sure they come out. So perhaps you apply a little bit too much pressure or portato. So I learned from my recording how better to play it next time.
Did you have any question?
I was expecting that the more like in the whole, the sounds like in the whole, but now it's okay because of this situation. Yes.
I didn't understand what you mean. The sounds in the hall.
It's more.
You're talking about the concert hall.
Yeah, it's more echo. I don't know.
Reverb.
Yeah.
Yeah, my it sounds horrible, the recordings, because they need a little bit of reverb on it. I asked Peter if he could add some, but he's very mean with his reverb. I think he saves it for his own pieces.
I said it's just
he prefers proverb.
But you can add some reverb if you want. I won't. No, not you, Peter. Too late for you. She.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, normally you hear it with more reverb, so the pieces would sound more joined together, actually. It's how they sound more fragmented in this dry acoustic, but it's the best I have.
Yes, yes.
My house was not built as a concert hall, unfortunately.
Yes.
Or maybe it's fortunately, because I don't want loads of people in it.
Yeah, that's fine. It's obvious that in a concert hall with a very warm sound, this warm sound will also enhance the sound of solo piece for violin. That's obvious.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'm really thankful. It's really nice.
Thank you for being thankful.
Yeah, and I let it also like that because now you can listen to a lot of details much closer. Just thinking to be next to Irvine Arditti than listening in a concert hall. So, of course, you all can do with the recording what you want then.
Yeah, no,
Exactly.
it's a good philosophy, actually. Yeah. Because when you're recording, you never have too much reverberation on, especially if you want to edit, because then it's more difficult to edit. So actually the clarity of listening without so much reverb is also good, but sometimes it makes the pieces, not just yours, but also some of the others. It depends on the nature of the music, but it makes them sound less good.
Yeah, of course.
Because the things don't connect.
Well, this meeting is not about just indulging in beautiful sounds. It's for discussing details. And for discussing details, I think we are in perfect conditions like this.
The right mode.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Irvine, did you have any more comments on the piece?
Not really. It's nice to play all in harmonics, and yeah, it's more difficult piece than it looks like. Sometimes the easier looking pieces are more difficult than the difficult looking pieces.
Can you give an example? What is difficult?
Some have to play them very fast, like in bar 46. I didn't do it as well as that. I did it slower and it was more broken up. It's quite hard to do that. You see, you don't hear the fourth note. It's not so clear. Whereas if I was playing normal notes, you'd hear the rhythms much better.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean. When you're playing in harmonics, it's like trying to walk in a marsh. You understand what a marsh is? It's wet land where you sink in. Yeah. How do you say that in German?
Sumpf.
Einem Sumpf waten.
Yeah. So it's a more, or like walking in the water. You can't walk as fast in the water as you can when you're on land. And so playing in harmonics is a little bit like that.
And if you try to sink in deeper.
Well, that's the marsh. In the harmonics, you just don't get the harmonic, and then it doesn't sound nice at all.
Mm-hmm.
And also these sort of things are quite hard to play. To keep it going with the right pitches. Mr. Sciorino is to blame for that. And don't worry, I told him off. But
I don't have the score.
We're friends again.
Good. I was not listening with the scores today, but only listening like this. We are talking about harmonic trill on one string, right?
Yep.
Okay.
But for those who are not familiar with that, I mean, obviously Miss Tseng is familiar with it because she wrote the piece. But if you're not familiar. It's not like a normal trill where you leave one finger down. Can you see that? The bottom one goes down and the top one, you can do that really quickly. And you're trained to do that in the conservatoire. But to do a harmonic trill with two different pitches, you have to take one up before you can get the other one. So you can't hold the bottom one down like you do in a normal trill. So it has to go like, and that's really hard to do. One is not trained to do that. And I think Salvatore Sciarrino invented that. I don't know if he did, but the first time I saw it was in his Caprices, the Capricci from 1976. First time I saw that technique. And it's interesting, it's challenging to do. But
it sounds nice.
It sounds nice, it's quite innovative. So it's not as easy as it looks. It looks simple on paper. It's just a trill between two notes. But it's not easy at all.
Thank you.
I think you must be totally relaxed to play this piece. Completely relaxed, and then nothing works.
And that's why we do it at home and not in concert hall at the moment.
I'm much more relaxed in a concert hall. Playing at home makes me nervous. Great. Okay. So,
well, Irvine, thanks a lot, very much. We're very thankful for what you did for us, and we'll be in touch.
Yep. Yeah. Very welcome, and see you all again sometime.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hopefully in the flesh and not on Zoom.
Yeah.
Or not only on Zoom.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.